Hello everyone, happy Tuesday. Welcome to my Tuesday at 2 Facebook Live. I am April Davis, an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and I live in Spring Hill, Kansas. And I'm just double checking to make sure that I've gone live. If you are joining me live, please do let me know, say hello and where you're watching from. And if you're watching the replay, let me know you're watching the replay as well. Give me a minute, I'm gonna cough. Excuse me. Anyway, glad to have you here. As always, there's always so much I want to share, but I wanted to kind of give you another side of me. I am an avid crafter. Obviously, I love crafting with Stampin' Up. But I was given a challenge a few weeks ago, and I'm going to share my screen with you. Let me do this and do this so that I can stay with you. But when I was in Florida, my granddaughter, and so this is my oldest grandchild, my granddaughter, we were sitting in the hotel room and she's like, Grandma, are you gonna make my birthday card? And of course, I always make their birthday cards and they always have suggestions. And she's like, Grandma, can you make me an axolotl birthday card? Because her theme this year for her birthday is axolotl. She's gonna be 8 years old. And I'm like, I would love to, Briar, but I don't even know what an axolotl is. And so she proceeded to show me on YouTube what axolotls were. So I had my work cut out for me. So anyway, I got her card done this weekend, and I just wanted to share it with you because I had so much fun with it. It's not all Stampin' Up. Some of it's Stamping Up, but I used my Cricut, and I made her an axolotl card. And I'm really excited, considering I didn't even know what an axolotl was. And now I have got a card for her. So I'm hoping she's going to enjoy it. But her birthday is this Saturday. We're celebrating on Sunday. So we've got that going on. And I'm so proud of this card, I had to share it with you. All right, what else do I want to share with you? A lot of different things going on. So a few quick updates. One of the updates I wanted to share with you is this virtual album retreat. This retreat actually starts tomorrow. I've been talking about it for the last few weeks, but it's not too late. If you guys have been on the fence and you've been thinking about this, but you can't make any decisions, this is, I'm just going to say it one more time. This is incredible. You get, for this, it's a 3-day virtual event, the 16th through the 18th. And everything's going to be recorded because I can't be online watching on Facebook because it's on a special Facebook page, but I can't be online watching 8 hours for 3 days straight. So it is being recorded, but I wanted to share with you what you're going to be making. You're going to be making 12 two-page spreads, January through December. And I just have to show you because I'm still so amazed with this box. This is the box you get. And I don't know if I can take this out a little bit or, maybe shrink it up just a tad so you guys can see. But this is the box you get. And in this box, all the supplies you need for this virtual retreat. So in this bag, you've got stamp sets, you've got twine. I packaged mine up. The stamp sets don't come in the little cases, but I put mine in the little cases because I had some. But twine, picture identifiers if you want to do 2x2 picture. You've got embellishments, and you've got, they're going to show us techniques on how to do some specialty pages with flip-flapping and things like that. So that's this particular one. And then you also, when you join the Facebook page, you'll have an additional supplies list. Basically, it's just talking about inks that you might want to have, your bone folder, adhesive, so on and so forth. And then you're also going to receive the directions that you can print off for each of your 2-page spreads. So if you can't actually watch them, then you've got the directions, plus you'll have the recordings. But that's not all. You've got die cuts, and they tell you what project they go for. There's several packages of those in here. You've got the punch outs for all the months. So you've got this January through December. You've got some paper, some specialty paper that you're going to be utilizing. And then all your sheet protectors for your pages, comes with all of those. I probably should have taken all this stuff out so I can put it back in the box. And then you have 12 packages of everything that you need to make each month. And everything is die cut. So you've got for project 1, which is January, February. I'm not gonna go through all of it, but oh my gosh, guys, this is gonna be so much fun. And what I wanted to share with you is that I went out and checked. These kits are still available. Now, if you go ahead and sign up or register for the class, you will get the email that will give you a link to the Facebook page. You won't necessarily have your kit, but you will be in, and so you'll have access to the recording. So when your kit does arrive, then you can get straight to work. And the other thing that I'm doing for anybody who actually orders the kit through me, I am throwing in, and give me just a second so I can get this stuff out of the way. It's amazing how much stuff is here. I am throwing in, let me get this out of the way. Oh my goodness, so big. The album. So this is the 12 by 12 album that I will throw in and give to you for free for registering through me. And I've got some scrapbook pages in here. Obviously, these aren't the scrapbook pages that we're doing for the virtual, but I just wanted to give you an idea as to how many pages this album can hold. Can you see how thick that is? So you will get to choose whether you want the D ring or if you want the peg post, but this will be yours. I will let you select what you want and I'll get it sent to you if you choose to order through me. That said, again, you're not going to have it in time for the retreat because the retreat starts tomorrow. However, you will be in and you will have access to the Facebook page so you can watch the demonstrations, and you can also go back and you can review the recordings after the fact. So let me bring this up just a little bit because I've got more to share with you, but I wanted to kind of just share with you that virtual retreat one last time in case you've been on the fence. Additionally, let's talk about Paper Pumpkin. So registration for the August Paper Pumpkin is open. July has closed, but August is open. And so Stampin' Up! Always gives you some sort of a sneak peek as to what you're gonna get. Obviously, this sneak peek is a little lacking, but we do know we're gonna get a free additional stamp set. So not only are you gonna get the stamp set that you normally get, but you're gonna get a free additional stamp set. And it's called Farmhouse Floral. So I was just kind of putting 2 and 2 together. I'm just guessing. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I apologize. The guy who takes care of our lawn decided to show up this afternoon instead of tomorrow. So it may be a little loud, I apologize. But look at this little teapot. This kind of made me think about the set that we had previously with the country flowers. Now, it's not country flowers, obviously, but that teapot looks pretty similar. And we've got some flowers around here as well, which then means that as I'm doing some of the alternatives, I'm wondering whether or not I'm going to be able to use the Country Woods or the Country Lace Designer Series paper. Again, I'm just guessing, I'm just supposing, I have no clue what is in this paper pumpkin, but a few hints. The other thing that I found is it says Farmhouse Florals, charming florals bloom in the most curious places. And they have this one on top of a typewriter. So I'm a little confused, but I'm excited to get it. And then the other thing that I wanted to just share with you is that Stampin' Up! Has coordinating dies that come out. So for July, August, and September, these dies can be utilized. And so I was looking at these as well. And obviously the strawberry one is getting ready to come out. We're just waiting for it to arrive in our mailboxes. But it looks like you can also use it for acorns. And then there's some fall leaves. So I'm guessing next month, not for August, but for next month, we're going to be having something to do with fall. And then we've got this circle die as well. So you have until August 10th to sign up for the August Paper Pumpkin. And remember, if you sign up for Paper Pumpkin through me, then you will be on the list to receive the alternatives tutorial every month. You get 12 additional alternative cards that you can make with your Paper Pumpkin kit. They're designed by 4 of us, myself and 3 other demonstrators, and that's absolutely free to you with a Paper Pumpkin subscription through me. All right, lastly, I wanted to just remind everybody about the July Crafting Happiness Club. This club is open for enrollment through the 20th of July. And I just wanted to share with you really quickly because I'm loving this set. It's Inspiring Imperfections. And when you enroll in this club, it is a monthly club, so it's delivered right to your front door. You're going to make 4 cards, 2 of each card, and you will also receive a tutorial for this as well so that you can put these cards together. You're going to receive a half a pack of designer series paper, 6 by 12. You'll also receive the flower accents. You'll also receive a full bolt of the white ribbon and any cardstock that's required to create the 12 cards. So you'll receive all of that. And look at these gorgeous, gorgeous cards. I just love this set with the gold highlights in the paper. And of course you will be receiving that paper. But I wanted to share this with you because registration again is only open through the 20th, and then we'll get started on next month's Crafting Happiness Club. All right, did I cover everything? Oh, the next thing I want to cover is just to say thank you. Thank you to those of you who comment on my videos, who like my videos, who share my videos. You are helping me to grow my channel. Plus, I just love hearing from you. So I've got 2 gifts that I'm waiting to hear from. These are from last week. I'm waiting to hear from Mary Augustin. And I'm also waiting to hear from Marilyn Brown Pearson. These were last week's drawings, and so if I don't hear from you this week, then your gifts will go back into the pool so that I can share them with someone else. I keep them open for 2 weeks, and then after that, they go back into the pool. So again, Mary Brown Pearson and Marilyn Brown Pearson, and then Mary Augustin. I need to hear back from you, and what you need to do is you just need to send an email to aprildaviscreations.com, and that will help me with your contact information so I can get those in the mail to you. Now, I have drawings for this week, or the drawings were from last week, but you hear about them this week. And so my winners this week are Orchid Girl. So Orchid Girl, congratulations. And also Wanda Kroger. Now, the gift this week is the Rhinestone Basic Jewels, but I have to share with you why I'm so in love with these jewels. So I got out my sample here, and I'm just going to show you that these jewels, you can make anything you want them to be. So I don't know if you can see, but let me see, I got to work around my picture. They work with our Stampin' blends. So I'm just going to show you how easy this is to take these, and then you can color coordinate them to your projects any way that you want to. So I've got Secret Sea here. Secret Sea is one of my favorite colors in the new In Colors. But you just take your Stampin' blend, color it up, and now I've got Secret Sea Bling. This was Strawberry Slush. This one was Timid Tiger, and this one was Cloud Cover. So I've got bling in the new In Colors. So Wanda and Orchard Girl, please get with me. In fact, I think I have both of you guys' information, but you can reach out to me. I love to hear from you, and just let me know that you heard your name called, and I will get those in the mail to you. All right, so let's talk now about the cards we're gonna make. So this week we are using Coneflower Celebrations. And I've got some fun cards that we're going to be doing. Let me pull these out. They're a little bit more involved, but still so fun. So this is card number 1, and look how fun this card is. The die does this. It pops, it makes it so that you can pop it up and put a message inside. And then of course you can put your additional message inside. Then I've got this one that is just strictly stamping with a few little die cuts. and the flower inside. And then we're gonna spend a little bit of time so I can show you how we created this coneflower. So I'm gonna save this one for last because it's a little messier and I can clean that up after I get done with you guys. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with this one. So let's bring this kit out, and we are using Blackberry Bliss for our card base. This is the inside of my card. This is basic white, and I'm gonna take myself down, guys, so that I'm not blocking your view. So give me just a second so that I can get this figured out. So there we go. Okay, now I'm down, so I won't be blocking your view. Hey, Jenna. These are fun, right? Thank you for saying hello. Okay, and then what I did is I took a piece of basic white and I embossed it with the Forever Plaid 3D embossing folder. Love, love, love these embossing folders. So we've got that. And then what I did is I just went ahead and did all the die cutting so that we could do the creating. But in this set, you're gonna have obviously the stamps, and I don't know that I have very many stamps left in here because we're gonna be using them, but you've got all of the dies that will come with this bundle. So I have this one cut, and then let me see, let me pull these out. I've got the detailed cut, and then I've also got my leaves, and I've got a piece of scrap for my sentiment, and here's some more leaves. So let's go ahead, let me get this out of here. There we go. Let's go ahead and let's get our stamping done first. That way it's out of the way. So I'm gonna move this out of the way, move these out of the way, and we'll do our coneflower first. So I'm just going to fold my coneflower over. I'm gonna bring in my Teflon mat or my silicone mat because I want to, I'm gonna be stamping with photopolymer stamps, and I wanna make sure, oh, I guess I didn't bring that one out. Okay, hold on a second. I thought I had all my stamps out, but I didn't. We're gonna bring out It's Your Day, and let me pull out, let's see if I've got a block I can use here. So I'm gonna put this here, and I'm gonna kind of angle it a little bit just so that I can get it to fit. All right, now we're ready to go. We're gonna use Blackberry Bliss, and we are going to stamp It's Your Day on the inside of this one. So let me get this open. It's Your Day. Make sure I get good coverage on my stamp, and then I'm just gonna stamp it right here. It's Your Day. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and clean this off. So this is stamped. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna stamp the sentiment, and the sentiment is celebrating you. So I'm gonna go ahead, I've got a piece of scrap. Let me find my celebrating you stamp, and we'll go ahead and get this stamped, and then we're gonna die cut. And I'm getting messy. Straight down, straight up. Okay, we've got that. Let me clean this up. I've got some ink on my finger, and I also rocked it, and so it's on the corner of my block. And I want to get that off before I start getting it on everything else. So, celebrating you. I am actually going to die cut this out, and I am using the Textured Notes bundle. Actually, the Textured Notes dies. These dies are going to be a staple in my scrapbook room and my crafting room going forward, because I love, love, love these rectangle dies, and they've all got different designs on them. In fact, I'm using quite a few of them today. But for right now, we're going to use this one. Now, obviously, this one is way too big. However, not a problem. We're going to make it fit. And I've showed this before, but I'm going to show it again just so that you guys are comfortable with this. I'm going to bring in my mini cut and emboss and my plates. So we've got this. And then what I'm gonna do, let me get this out of the way. All right, so my 2 plates to start. We're going to line this up, and I've got my mint tape here, I believe I do. I've got some right here on my cut and emboss as well. I'm gonna line this up so that it's going to go just to the outside of my Celebrate. Can you guys see that? And so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get this lined up. Let me bring it down where I want it. That's where I want it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my tape down. And I've got this die taped down. Now what you're gonna do is, obviously, I only wanna cut part of it. I'm gonna cut this edge of it, and then we're gonna reverse it and we're gonna do it the other way. So in order to do that and not cut too far down, excuse me, I'm going to leave it hanging off of my plate. So you can see my plate's here, but the die is hanging off and I'm not going all the way to the edge. So now, whoops, I gotta turn this around, guys, because I'm right-handed, I'm not left-handed. Same thing. Got this in here, hanging off the edge, so I'm not cutting the whole thing. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in and we'll crank it through. Okay. Now when we take this out, I can show you that we've only cut part of it. Can you see? I've only cut part of it. So I have to cut the rest of it, right? So we're gonna do the exact same thing, only this time I'm gonna have this edge hanging off. I'm gonna line this up, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna wiggle it around so that it falls into the track of what was already cut. So now I've got it here. It's not wiggling, it's in that track. I'm gonna put my tape back down again, put this back in. I'm gonna have this part hanging off, and then we'll put this in and we're gonna cut again. Whoops, let's get it back in there. All right, so now we can go ahead and we can cut. And I'm just gonna go on through, okay? Take the tape off, pop this out, and now it is a little tag instead of a big tag. But how fun is that? This technique I use all the time. That way I get more use out of my dies. You can do the same thing and make your dies bigger as well. So, but I use it a lot to make smaller tags when I have a die that I really enjoy. So let me put this back in my textured notes. Keep everything together. And now I've got my tag done, and let me see. I think we're done with all of the stamping. So now we can start to put this card together. So let me pull this stuff out of the way and bring back my items. And now we're just gonna build. Oh, you know what? We are gonna stamp one more thing. I just wanna get all my stamping done at the same time. So I am going to actually stamp the inside of my card. So I'm using a butterfly. I'm gonna use the same Blackberry Bliss ink that I used earlier. And we'll go ahead and get this butterfly stamped so that I can go ahead and get this card built. So I'm gonna put my butterfly about like right here. And then if I wanted to stamp a sentiment, I could, or I can just go ahead and leave it blank for a note if I choose to write a note. All right, so now we've got the inside done. Now we can start to build. So moving that off to the side, let's go ahead and build. So I'm gonna take this piece, and we've got, in pecan pie, we die cut the top of the coneflower. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take some glue and glue the top of the coneflower down, or you know, the little, I don't know, I really don't know the anatomy of a flower. So I'm just gonna call it the brown part of the flower because I don't know what it's called. But I love coneflowers, I really do. So we've got that, and then we can take this one and we are going to glue this piece down. Now, when I glue this down, I want some movement. I don't feel like I need to have to glue this down all the way to the end. You can if you want to, but I do kind of like a little movement to my card. So I'm just gonna glue it down about like that. That way the edges have a little bit of freedom. And then we'll go ahead and get this glued down. And I'm gonna pick this up so that I can move it a bit. But you can kind of see there's just a little bit of movement there. All right, so now we've got that part of the flower done. Now let's go ahead, and we've got some leaves that we need to glue down. There's some detail to the leaves. So this detail goes to this leaf, and this detail goes to this leaf. Is that right? Nope. Let's turn it. Oh, I gotta turn the leaf over. All right, let's try this again. Got it. All right, so I'm going to turn these over, and I'm just gonna take my glue and I'm just gonna do little dots. Making sure you guys can see. You don't need a lot of glue. I think, you know, the biggest mistake that new stampers make is they just use too much glue. You don't need a lot of glue when you're paper crafting. So I'm just doing these little dots, and I use the Tombow Mono liquid glue. It's the glue that Stampin' Up! Has in their catalog. I use that. I just transfer it to my little precision tip bottle because I love just being able to put out little bitsy tiny bits. So I've got this on there. I'm just gonna go ahead and make sure the edges meet. I'm gonna take this one, I'm gonna do the same thing. Add this, make sure my edges meet, and now my leaves are done, okay? So now what we can do is we can take this part of the card. I'm gonna take the base, fold it in half. I'm gonna use my bone folder to burnish it. And then we'll take our embossed layer, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to get an ample amount of glue on it. When I'm doing an embossed piece, I do add just a little bit more glue because there's a lot of peaks and valleys that I have to deal with. And so I wanna make sure that I can get it all lined up, or, you know, adhered, if you will. So now what I'm doing, and because I am using glue, I can kind of scooch this piece around until I get it where I want it to be. And I love that flexibility because I can't seem to get it down straight for some weird reason. All right, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our stem, and I'm just gonna go ahead and put it, and I can come down pretty close to the end. I'm just gonna go ahead and get this down. Let me see, which way do we want it to go? I think I want it to curve this way. It's got just a slight curve to it. So let me go ahead, and we're just gonna put a teeny tiny bit of glue on the back of this. And then I'll get this down, and I'm gonna put it right about, I don't know, here. Works for me. Then what we can do is we can take our leaves, and let's see, let's put this leaf here, and we'll put this leaf here. So same thing, get a little bit of glue on the backs of these. And the backs of this. Now this class is a to-go class. The class in itself is free. However, if you are interested in creating these cards and want the kit, you can actually get the kit for free as well by placing an order in my online store. All of the information, I'm going to take this down, and I'm going to put up aprildaviscreations.com at the top. You can go into my online store and see all the information that you need for placing an order in my online store. When you place an order, a minimum order in my online store, I will send you the kit for free. The ordering period is open. It opened yesterday, and it's open through Sunday. So if you love this card and you want to create one yourself, and as long as you have the stamp set, the bundle, because I can't do any stamping for you, but like I would do the embossing for you. I would actually probably die cut this for you the right size. I can't stamp for you, but I can give you the right size so that you can do it. But you'll have everything you need except for what's in the bundle, and then you would do that yourself. But go out to my website, and all that information is there. All right, I'm going to take the sentiment, and I'm looking for my tweezers. Are my tweezers here? Please let me have my tweezers here. Just because I feel like my fingers are so fat that I can't seem to get a hold of these little things, but I guess that's what we're gonna do since I can't find my tweezers. This weekend I went to a Stampin' Up! Event that was done in the Kansas City area, and I packed up some of my supplies, and I don't think I got them back out to where they were supposed to be. Didn't get them put away. Okay, now you can probably hear him. He's weed eating. My yard's gonna look really great, but I apologize for the extra noise. All right, let's take Celebrate You, and I'm just gonna put Celebrate let me see, I'm going to kind of straddle this stem because I've got dimensionals on it, so I'm doing it there. And then the last thing that we need to do is we just need to take this piece and get this put in. And then the other thing I didn't mention is in the kit that you get enough of supplies to create 2 of each of the cards. So we're doing 3 cards today. You will get the card stock and everything that you need to create 2 of each of these cards, and you will get a tutorial. Plus then you'll have this video that you can utilize to create as well. But isn't that cute? I just love this set. I love coneflowers. All right, so that is card number 1. Let's bring in card number 2 so I can remind you what it looked like. And we're going to be using the Timid Tiger. I love the new ink colors. They're growing on me, and Timid Tiger is one of them. I am using Secret Sea for my card base. Then I've got a piece of basic white cardstock for my inside. I've got a piece of Timid Tiger cardstock for my layer. We're going to be stamping on this piece of Timid Tiger. Then in the set you have a die that will cut this chain. I've got a scrap. We're going to stamp the butterfly, and then I also have a tag or label that came from, you guessed it, the Textured Notes dies. And this one is this one right here. Isn't that pretty? I just love these dies. All right, so first things first, let's get our stamping done. Move this off to the side, bring back in my silicone mat. I'm gonna go ahead and get my butterfly stamped first. So we're gonna use Timid Tiger to get the butterfly stamped. And then we'll die cut it in just a second. So we've got that. And we'll clean this off. And then I'm going to use Timid Tiger again to stamp my sentiment. So let me move this out of the way. I'll bring my label in, and we're going to stamp. I love that I've known you for so many birthdays. So let's go ahead and get this inked up. And I'll get this, double check it and make sure I got plenty enough ink. And then I'm going to go ahead and get this centered right in the middle here. Okay, clean that one off. And now what we're going to do is we're going to start to stamp these coneflowers. So let me move this out of the way. I'm still using this. I'm going to bring in, actually I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to actually bring in my cut and pierce mat, or my, Stampin' Pierce mat. Just because what I'm doing is I'm grabbing a piece of scrap paper because I'm going to be stamping off. So I'm going to use my mat so that I've got some cushion. I'm going to use this for stamping off. I'm going to bring in my basic white. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp my coneflowers. So because the coneflower is so big, I'm turning it on its back. And then I can just ink it up this way. And we'll go ahead and we will ink this one up over here, making sure I get a good connection with the paper and that the ink transfers. So, oh, so pretty. And then we're going to do a second coneflower. So let me ink this up again. All right, and then I'm going to put another coneflower right here. Bring it up just a tad. Probably right about there because I want a little bit of my stem to be able to show. Probably could have done that other one up a little bit higher, but you know what? None of my cards ever look the same. They just don't. All right, so let me go ahead and clean off this coneflower, and then we will use the pieces to do the stems. So I've got the stems on a longer block, and so let's go ahead and get this inked up, and be stamping off on it. I'm going to make sure I get it inked up, and then I'm going to put it probably right about here. Again, not quite like the other one was, but that's okay. And then I'm going to do this one. I don't need to ink it up too terribly far because I only have a short piece of paper to cover. So right here. Okay, so we've got the stems. Now let's go ahead and do the leaves. So cleaning this off. And now we've got 2 different leaves. So let me bring my leaves in. And let me see. I'm probably only going to be able to get, well, I might be able to. Let's see. Let's do this one over here. And I'm going to bring it down probably right about here. So you can see I'm stamping off. But it makes for a really pretty effect. And then I'm going to do this one over here. I don't think we're going to even be able to see it. I don't think we are. All right, so let me use the other leaf. We'll only have 1 leaf on this one. And then here's the other leaf. So let me go ahead and get that one inked up. And you can see I got my corner messed up. Uh-oh. Let me see. How do I want to do this? Let's do this one. I think I'm going to do it like this. I'm just winging it. All right, so there's a little bit of a leaf there. And then I don't know that I'm going to get much of a leaf over here, but we'll try. Right here. There we go. Not much. I had more room on the last one, but that's okay. This is good. Now, the one last thing that I'm going to do, and I don't know what this is called, but I was watching a few different things, and I don't know whether it's fairy dust or I don't know, just some design to this. But I'm going to go ahead. We've got this stamp that has these little dots, and so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp a few of these on just to kind of add some interest to the card. Let me see. Let's go this way, and then maybe I'm going to go this way. And since I've got so much room up here, I think I'm going to do some more up here. Last time I didn't, but there we go. Okay. I don't want to get too carried away, but at the same time, it's like, I guess there is such a thing as doing too much, but we'll do that. Okay. Stopping there. Stopping. Okay. So now I just have the inside to stamp. So let me move this out of the way. We'll build our card with that. I'm going to bring the inside in, and the inside we're going to stamp the coneflower again. I'll put it over here. So let's go ahead and get it inked up. Whoops, almost put that down the wrong way. And then we'll put coneflower right here. Let's see, I'm going to bring it up just a tad. Okay, so we've got our coneflower. Let's get this cleaned off. And I'm going to pretend like the stem, I don't know. I'm going to decide here in just a second when I do my leaf. I don't know if I guess my stem could go there. I guess it could. So I think the other one I had it off just a little bit more. And so let's go ahead and we'll put a stem in right here. So I'm going to stamp that. There we go. Nice. All right, now we'll do just one leaf. And so let me get this cleaned off. And let's see, which leaf do I want to use? Let's use this one. Do we want to use this one or do we want to use this? Choices, choices. I think I'm going to use this one. Whoop. Let's get it into the ink. And I'm going to put it right here. And again, I have to stamp off because there's not a lot there. All right. Okay. So we've got that. Let's do a little bit of fairy dust or pixie dust or dots, whatever we want to call this. If you guys have something that you call these, let me know so that I can use the right terminology. Speckles. There we go. So we've got that. And now I believe with all of the stamping done, we can start to put this card together. So let me close this up, move this out of the way, and we will start to put this together. I do have to do some die cutting, so let's go ahead and do that, get that done. So I'm going to bring my cut and emboss back in. I've got a little butterfly die in here. This is it right there. And this is that cheat die that I was showing you guys. That's that die. So let's go ahead and we will, I've got a little bit of this tape left. Get this lined up. It's kind of on its last leg, but I think I can get one more cut with it. I don't know if you guys can see. Let me move this up a little bit. So I'll get this lined up where I want it. All right. And then, let me see, my plates are right here. So let's get this on, and then we'll get this die cut. All right, move that out of the way. Close that up, actually. And pull our little butterfly out. There we go. Now, we are good to start building. I am going to put my die up though so I don't lose it. All right, so let's go ahead and take our base and we'll go ahead and get it burnished. Okay, this is our inside piece. So let's go ahead and put our inside in. Slide this, scooch it where I want it. Okay, we've got that. Now what we can do is we can take this piece and we're going to mount it to our Timid Tiger cardstock. All right. Center it appropriately. Okay. And now we've got this piece. Now this piece obviously does not go all the way across. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our snips and we are going to just cut it in half. So now we've got this cut in half. So I can put half of it on this end and I can put half of it on this end. Now we've got two choices. We could take the part that's cut and it would look like it was cut to be that way. And maybe I'll do it that way this time and then you guys can see the difference. But what I want to do is I want to make sure that I get it on straight. So I'm going to bring in my T-square and I'm going to bring it up to where I want my little chain to sit. So the first thing that I will do is get this side on. Let me pick this up. And we're gonna do, like we've done before, I'm just gonna take little dots of glue, not a lot, little dots of glue so that we can get this glued down. And again, just teeny tiny dots. All right, and I don't have my tweezers to help me, so I'm going to try to pick this up. Got my T-square down where I want it to go. I'm just gonna put this up to the edge. Okay, so now we've got this one down. Now I want this one to be in the same place, right? Or at the same level. So I'm gonna do the exact same thing. My T-square is still down. And you can use a ruler, you can use, you know, a piece of paper. This is just a tool that I have in my craft room that I do when I want to get things lined up. I do it to if I've got sentiments that I want to make straight and I don't feel like iron it's going to work for me, then I will bring this out, but it's always available to me if I need it. All right, so this is all lined up. So now what I'll do is I'll take this one, put it down to the edge, and it's also pushed down along the ruler. So now when I lift this up, my chain is straight. Okay, then what I can do is I can take my dimensions and I'm going to take my dimensions and I'm going to, let me see if I've got one that's already open. I do. Well, I'll take my dimensionals and I'll put them on the back of here, and then we're just going to straddle this label across the chain. Okay, so let me get these off. And let me see, I want to kind of make it So here and here perhaps. And I'm just eyeing this one. Is that straight? Yep, that's good. And then my butterfly, I'm just gonna put right here on the corner here. So I'm not gonna put it over the entire card. I'm just gonna put it here, and then I am gonna take a dimensional, and I will put a dimensional on the back just to give it a little bit of support. I think I'm gonna take it down just a little bit. It's a little high, and I don't want it showing through my, in my card. So now I can put this here, the dimensional's there, and my butterfly is secure. Hold that down. All right, now what we can do is we can take this layer and add it to the front of our card. Okay, get this centered up. And we're almost done. Almost. I love this Secret Sea color. I just love it so much. It's not black, but it's very, very dark, but it's darker than like Night of Navy, but it just pops, right? And then I'm gonna get into my muted palette dots. And let's see, how do I have these open? Like this, okay. And then I'll use my taper pick, and we're just gonna add a few, I'm gonna use my putty end, and we're gonna add a few of these dots in here. So I'm gonna put one here by the, I'm gonna move it a little bit, here by the butterfly. We'll take another little one, we'll put it up here, and then I'm gonna take one and I will put it right here on the label. And we've got those done, and let me move this out of the way so you can see. So pretty. This is card number 2. So pretty, so pretty. All right, let's do card number 3. Now card number 3 is a little bit more involved. So let's talk about what card number 3 has. So we've got a basic white card base. We've got a Secret Sea layer. We've got a cloud cover layer, and this is also cut with the textured note dies. You can see the detail around it. It's this layer right here. So pretty. All right, so we've got that. And then I have 2 pieces, Secret Sea, and this is where our sentiment's gonna be stamped. So let's go ahead and get our sentiment stamped first, and then I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do with the actual coneflower. So we are using You Made My Day. Let me find that. Do I have it out? Yes, You Made My Day. So I'll bring this in, and let me see. I'm looking for my Secret Sea ink. So we've got my Secret Sea ink right here. And let's see. I'm gonna bring this up close, guys, so that I can get this straight, or as best I can. So You Made My Day. I'm sorry if you have to look at my head for just a second. There we go, got that. Got it. All right, You Made My Day. Let me clean this off, and then I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do with the rest of it. So let's go ahead and get it mounted. Well, we've got that. We've got this piece. Let's go ahead and get it mounted. And we don't have to worry about losing it. And get this centered up appropriately. All right, there we go. Now we have our sentiment. All right, now what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to bring in my Stamparatus. Now, obviously Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell the Stamparatus anymore. If you've got any kind of a stamp positioner, that will work. You don't have to use it, but I'm doing this because I'm going to be using Stays On ink, and Stays On ink is sticky ink. I'm just saying. It's sticky ink, and I want to make sure that I get a good stamp with it. So I'm going to take my Coneflower. Let me see, I want to look at my sample card to make sure that I'm doing this right. What happened to my sample card? It is, hold on a second, guys. It is, here it is. I didn't even show it to you guys. Here's the sample card that we're making. I'm going to be stamping this Coneflower, and I'm going to be stamping the sentiment, or not the sentiment, but the stem and the leaves. And I'm going to be stamping it in Stays-On ink. The Stays-On ink is, to me, tends to be a bit sticky. But I'm doing this because of the technique that I'm going to be using to color this Coneflower. So I'm going to go ahead and get this set up so that I can put my cone here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this part of it first, and then we'll come back and we'll do the stems. I'm not going to do them all at the same time. So I go ahead and I pick up my Coneflower, and then I'm going to get my Stays-On ink. This is jet black. Oh, I keep forgetting. Stays-On ink has a little cover to it. Okay, let me get this inked up. I get good coverage on my stamp. Now, when you're using Stays-On ink, I mean, it stays on. You can stamp on acetate. You can stamp on other textures besides just regular cardstock. But because of the techniques that I'm going to be using, I will show you here in just a second the difference between using the Stays-On ink and the difference just using the Memento Black ink. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull this up, and I'm going to try to keep it from coming up as much as I can. I'm going to have to put it back down, but you can see how sticky it is, pulling that off. And I did not get the best stamp out of that. So I'm hoping that I'm going to get this line back up again so that I will have a better stamp. And I'm actually, when I do this again, I'm going to actually be pushing harder on the little cone part of it, because that did not transfer as well. So I want to make sure that I get this as dark as I can. And I did do, I do have an example of when I used the Memento, so I'll show you that here in just a second. But again, very, very sticky. And this didn't line up exactly the way I wanted it to, but it's good enough. I mean, you can't hardly tell. I can see it, but I did a really, really good job of misaligning it. So I don't have a big issue. It doesn't look bad. When you use Stays-On, you need to use the Stays-On all-purpose cleaner. And so basically what you're going to do, and Stampin' Up! Does have both the Stays-On ink, they've got black and they've got brown, and then they've got the Stays-On cleaner as well. So basically what I'm doing is I'm taking the cleaner and I am getting my stamp all clean by using this cleaner. But you have to do it because Stays-On stays on. So if you don't use the cleaner, then you will have a more difficult time getting it cleaned. And I will spend a little bit more time cleaning this, but I'm just watching the time, and I don't want to keep you guys too long. Sorry, I have a tickle. I'm gonna have to take a drink of water. Stand by. All right. So we've got that. Now the next thing I need to do, and I'm going to pull this off, and I'm going to clean this more in a minute, but I'm going to put it off to the side. Excuse me. We'll get this cleaned off. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my stem, and we're going to put our stem down, and I'm going to line this back up again so that I'm using my grid paper so that I can make sure that I get this lined up appropriately. And then I'm going to take, actually I'm going to have to move it up because my stem is longer. But as long as I have something to line it up with, I feel like I can get it back in the same place. All right, and then we're going to take this one and put it here and get it stamped. So again, line it up. Very sticky. All right, get this lined up. My goal is to only have to stamp this stem once. So we'll get this done. And you can see how nice and dark the ink is. Let me go ahead and get this inked. Okay, so we've got this. Now I'm gonna press. I wanna make sure I get a good connection because I don't wanna do this again. But if I had to, I could. All right, so let's go ahead and get this picked up. There we go, that's good. I'm gonna use what ink I have or Stays-On cleaner I have on this already. So I can go ahead and get that cleaned off. I'll put this off to the side because I'm gonna spend a little bit more time cleaning those. And then I'm gonna put my leaves down, okay? So we're gonna put one down. Let's move this out of the way so that I can kind of keep an eye on it. I'm gonna put one down right here. Let's see, it's gotta go this way. So this one's gonna go here. And I'll get that lined up in a second. And then let's look for the second leaf. Where are you, leaf? Put this one right here. Once we get the leaves down, then we can start having some fun playing with this. All right, so I'm gonna go this way, this way, this way. Okay, I think this is how I'm going. I'm gonna get this even. Come up here to the top just because it'll be easier for me to line up if I have to. But I'm gonna be really careful when I ink these to make sure that I get this lined up appropriately. All right, one more time, get this because the sticky stamps pull on it. So this does take a little bit more time and a little bit more patience, but I think you guys will like, if you're interested in doing this technique, you'll like the Stays-On better. So I'm just going ahead and get this inked up as best I can. I want to do it so that I don't have to ink twice, right? All right, so let's go ahead and get this down. We'll get these inked, and then we can start playing with it. So let me just make sure I get a good transfer. I'm not gonna rush it. And then pull this up. Okay, very good. That works for me. So let's go ahead and get this closed up. I'm going to take my cleaner and I'm gonna put it on my stamps again. And then, like I said, I will do more cleaning after the class, but for now this will get us what we need. All right, so I'm just gonna leave those there. Got those cleaned off. I'm gonna put this here and this here so that I can come back and clean them up more later. And then I'm gonna pull this off. And now we can get started on our technique. So first thing I wanna show you is that this leaf was done, oops, sorry. This leaf was done with the Stays-On. This leaf was done with the Memento. And what I really wanna show you, and maybe you can't see it right now, but when we do this technique with the blender pen, it kind of grays out the lines. So if I bring this one back in, and you won't be able to see it very well, but can you see the difference or the contrast in the two in the sense that this is a crisp line and this is more of a gray line? So, because I thought, you know, it does take more effort to do the Stays-On. But the Stays-On does give you a much crisper line. So I decided to go ahead and show you how to use the Stays-On, but it's your choice. You can use the Memento. So what I'm going to do is I am utilizing Stampin' Up's blender pen. And this blender pen, you can choose to use the blender pen, or if you happen to have the water painters, we don't sell the water painters anymore, but if you happen to have the water painters, you could use the water painters. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the blender pen today because that's what we have, and I'm gonna use Misty Moonlight to color in my Coneflower. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my Misty Moonlight and I'm gonna tap it off on my block. I'm not gonna go, I could go from the inside of my stamp pad, but I'm gonna stamp it off. And the other thing that I'm gonna do, and I'm just gonna do a teeny tiny itsy bitsy bit, is I've got a bottle of water. I'm just gonna take a little bit of water and I'm gonna add some water to it. Then what I can do is I can take my blender pen, and it's been well loved, and I can kind of mix this together. And then what I want to do is I want to take this and I'm just going to start coloring in my flower. This is the fun part. And I'm just going to bring my blender pen in and get this all colored in. And I'm not being precise with this. It's the look that I want. You know, you could be very detailed with your coloring, but I just basically want to get some color down, and then you'll see what I'm going to do with it here in just a second, because I can go back over it again. But with the stays on, I don't have any issues with, I mean, this is not watercolor paper, so because it's not watercolor paper, I definitely have to be careful. I don't want any pooling or anything. And in fact, I'm going to show you a different technique that I'm going to use on this that I didn't use on the first card. But I'm not having any issues utilizing my blender pen with this water and getting it colored in. So I've got it colored in. What I want to do now is I'm going to go into some of this darker that didn't have the water mixed into it, and I'm just going to add a little bit more color at the top. I want my top to be just a little bit darker, kind of some shading, if you will. So I'm picking that up. And we've got a little bit more color at the top. So if I bring this up for you guys to see, you can see how it's darker at the top. All right, now when you go to clean this off, basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna just take a piece of paper towel and you're gonna swish it across the paper towel, and you can see it's all gone. So now I can use another color. I'm gonna bring in my old olive, and I'm gonna use the same block. I'm just gonna put it over here. And I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna add a little bit of water just to kind of give it just a little bit more, I don't want it to be so dark. And so the water allows me to thin it down just a little bit. And then I'll make sure that I get plenty of it off, and then I'm just gonna do my stem. And I'll do the same thing. I'm just gonna color this in. It goes fairly fast. Again, you could use your water painters if you chose to. You just want to be careful. You don't want it to get it too wet, because then the paper will start to pill, and you don't want that to happen. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to get this other one colored in, picking up my color. And I'm basically going to do the same thing that I did with the green, or the blue. I'm going to actually come in and I'm going to pick up some of this darker now that's not watered down, and then I can follow some of my lines and just kind of add some accents with the lines. It's not perfect. I'm not following it exactly. I'm just kind of giving it a little bit of shading, if you will. All right, so let me go ahead and do that. Okay, so now we've got the leaves done. Okay. All right, then the last part, I'm cleaning this off again, and you just swish it along your paper towel and it cleans right off. I'm going to add some pecan pie for my little cone top. So let me do this, and I'm just gonna do a tinty bit of water. You don't have to do the water. I just feel like it goes a little bit further for me and smoother for me when I use the water. So again, do this. And like I did before, this time I'm going to turn it this way, and I'm going to pick up some of that ink that doesn't have water on it, and I'm just going to do my edges down here by the flower. Okay, so that becomes a little bit darker. Okay, see how that's going? All right, now what I'm gonna do is go ahead and clean this off. And I want to do some speckling, and I've still got some water on here. So let's see if we can do this. I do this with water cleaners, and I could do it. This one I did with our little pixie dust. You can see I did it with a little, I'm going to say the pixie dust stamp. I don't want to do that with this one. I'm going to add just a tiny bit more water to this. Oop, there we go. Get my brush tip wet, and I'm just going to use my, let me bring in a piece of scrap paper. I'm going to use my bone folder, and I'm going to see if I can get enough water here to do this. Now, it's not going quite as well. I can see a little bit. It's not going quite like I want it to, but I still want that effect. So let me clean this off, and I'll show you what we're gonna do. Let me get this cleaned off. It's got a lot of color in it I picked up, so I got to do a little bit more brushing away, but you can see it's just a matter of time. Now it's nice and clean. Okay, so the blender pens are a really nice tool to have, but I still want those speckles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find, do I have my Misty Moonlight? I do. I have my Misty Moonlight Stampin' Blend, and I'm going to take my Stampin' Blend, and I'm going to take the brush tip of it, and I'm going to do some, I'm going to do some more tapping on this, and it's very fine, which is what I wanted opposed to the big. And you can see all my speckles on my paper as well, perhaps. Maybe not. I'll bring it up so you guys can see. Can you see the speckles? So you can see the speckles here. So I've got speckles. They are lighter than these speckles, okay? But let's go ahead and build this card now. Move all of this stuff out of the way, and it looks great. I used the Stays On ink, so the Stays On ink kept it from getting muted. So now what I can do is I can take my piece, and I'm gonna move this out of the way. I'll clean it up later. I'm gonna glue this down. And get this centered up where I want it. Okay, there we go. And we'll take this piece, and I'm gonna fold it and use my bone folder, which we know is here, right? Because I just used it. Where did I put it? Oh, here it is. Here we go. Oh, I had ink on me. Where's that ink coming from? I think when I picked up the that block, I accidentally got some ink on me. It's on the back side though, so that's good. All right, so let's go ahead and get this down. And I think what I did is I went ahead and put this one down with dimensionals. So let's go ahead and add some dimension to this. And I miss my tweezers. It's kind of funny what you get used to, right? A lot of people don't use tweezers, and they do just fine. I guess I got used to them, and now I miss them, but I can do fine without them. All right, so let me get the backs of this off, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a little bit of glue on the backs of these dimensionals so that I've got a little bit of scooch room. So let me go ahead and do this. Just so that I can move this around if I need to. All right, turn this way. We'll get it centered up where I think it needs to be. Probably right about here, maybe. Actually, I did pretty good, I think. This needs to go up just a tad. So let me see if I can get this a tad. See, even with the glue on the back, I mean, at least I can move it a little bit. I need to come up. All right, come on. Come up, right about here, I think. All right, we're gonna go with that. And then I'm gonna put my sentiment right here. And my sentiment, actually, it's kind of funny. It got some speckles on it too. It was going all over the place, which is fine. I love that look. So let me put my sentiment right here. And I'm not going to go clear to the edge, but I am going to come over just a little bit to the edge, maybe bring it up here. So I want it to hang over, but I don't necessarily need it to go all the way over. So I think we're good there. I don't think I'm going to need a dimensional under there, but if I wanted to, I could take one of my little mini dimensionals and just pick up my mini dimensional, put it right here, like so. Stick down, stick down. There we go. Take the vacuum off, then I can do that, and it's good. And then the last thing we're going to do is we're just going to add a few of these muted palette dots. So let's go ahead and get that done. And let's see. I'll put one here and one here, and I'll put another one up here. Okay, and here we go. Let me clean this off. We have card number 3, and a fun little technique with that, right? You can use the Stays On ink and use the blender pen to color it, or you can use the Memento ink and try it. You can use your water pens or color it in with your Stampin' blends. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. So let me bring these in. This is card number 3 that we did. Let me bring this down. And then card number 2 is our card that we did with Timid Tiger. Okay, so we've got card number 2, and then we've got our fun card number 1, where our coneflower is got a nice little surprise on the inside. So how fun were these? I love this coneflower set. Coneflower Celebrations. Remember, this is a to-go class, so if you are interested in getting the kit, you've got 2 options. You can place an order in my online store and get the kit for free, or if you're a demonstrator, for example, and you don't want to place an order in my online store because you've got a discount coming to you, then you can actually purchase the kit. And all of that information is in my on my website at aprildaviscreations.com. If you don't have a demonstrator that you're working with, I would be honored to be your demonstrator. And if you are, I just mentioned this, let me bring this up again. I'm gonna come back and see you. If you heard me just mention demonstrators that get the discount, if you're interested in getting a discount and perhaps getting the early access to the products that Stampin' Up! Rolls out, I would be more than happy to share information with you about being a demonstrator as well. I would love to welcome you to my Stamp About team. So don't forget that we have gifts for Marilyn Brown Pearson and Mary Augustin. Please reach out to me. And then this week's winners were Orchard Girl and Wanda Kroger. So I'll be getting your gifts in the mail to you as well. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you guys next week. Take care. Bye.